Like we said earlier, we want to speak about different aspects of Black life and the things that make Black lives matter. And today we have Jessica Thomas here. Jessica, come on. Jessica works in the mayor's office. Jessica is a realtor. Jessica is going to speak to us about Black economic justice today. There you go.
Thank you so much. So I'll start with a personal story about myself. I remember sitting in the kitchen the day after I brought my daughter home from the hospital. I was 19 years old, living with my mother and working overnight as a cab dispatcher. I also remember getting called back to work 4 days after getting out of the hospital because our office was short-staffed. After I got that phone call from my boss, I cried myself to sleep for 2 reasons. For one, I wasn't ready to go back to work. I had an infant baby, and the thought of going back after a couple of days was scary. But it was also the first time in my life I realized I didn't set myself up to be financially stable enough to stay home with her. So I sat in the kitchen and I made a list of things I needed to do, and I promised myself I would get a better job and purchase a house one day. A few months later, I got a job as a bank teller and I worked my way up. And 4 years after that, I was closing on a condo by the age of 24. So, and as I sit here almost 10 years later, the best feeling in the world comes from breaking the generational curses and labels that society tried to put on me for being a young Black mother. A few years after that, I bought another house, but this time it was for my mother, who rented her whole life. Yeah. And in the midst of buying properties, I became a real estate agent and learned how people were building wealth in this field and why it was important for myself and the legacy I plan to leave behind. So today I stand here as a public servant, a real estate entrepreneur, a businesswoman, the founder of a nonprofit, and the mother of 2 beautiful, vibrant Black children. So when I think about motherhood and economic justice, I say this: don't be afraid to go and get what belongs to you. The sacrifices you make for your family will pay off. Trust the process. And make sure you connect with each other while you're here. We have some of the most amazing women in the crowd who could change your life with one simple conversation. So let's stand in solidarity as mothers today, and let's stand in solidarity as we work together to achieve economic prosperity. Thank you.